We're in the kitchen with my two lovely sons. This one is, you can see, yes, AJ, also known as Donier, and this one is
Joshua.
I do have a third child, but she's a teenager going on 35 who doesn't want to be. She doesn't want to be in my video. Why? Who doesn't want to be in my video? Like, really? But anyway, today we are going to make those rainbow cookies, which you can see on camera are so cute. And you can't sing while we're on camera. Or hum. They're not yet camera etiquette trained, so don't worry about that. This is going to be hilarious. This is fun. This is for all of us to just enjoy quarantine. And guess what? You get to eat the cookies afterwards. And you will you will love what we're making next Friday because it involves chocolate. Yeah. So today we're going to be making quarantine cookies. So let me just remind you of the ingredients. Okay, so we have here all our ingredients that we need ready to start the bake. So we have our 375 grams of plain flour. We have 225 grams of unsalted butter. We have 200 grams of caster sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We have 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla and 1 egg lightly beaten. And you'll see here I've got an extra ingredient that I like to add. It isn't standard, but you can add it to the recipe, and that is 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. So I hope that you don't mind that I added that in. You can absolutely make it without, but I just like the extra taste of that. Okay, so as I explained, you can do this in a mixer, but because I know that many of you haven't got a mixer, I'm just going to explain to you how you can do it manually. It is a bit longer, but in the olden days, back in the war, they didn't have mixers. So here's your butter softened. Guys, listen, give yourself a break. If you don't soften this butter before you use it, you're in trouble. Okay, so make sure you soften that butter. So you can see here we're just pounding away, cream, and the boys are having a turn as well, and that will be what we need to do until it's completely soft. Okay, so you can see this is pretty creamy. If you do it in the mixer, it'll kind of go a bit paler, but we haven't got muscles, and we haven't got all day. So my boys are moaning that I said they haven't got muscles. You have got muscles, but I mean, you don't want to be here all year. Okay, so once it's creamy like that, that's when you're going to add in your butter, lightly beaten eggs. So that's just, it's 1 egg actually. So can you guys stop messing around? My goodness. Like, seriously? Concentrate. Right, so I'm mixing that in. Oh, lovely. Right, boys, have a go mixing that in. We want it to be no more wet. And while you're doing that, I'm going to add in a bit of the vanilla. Teaspoon of vanilla. Keep going. That's it. Lovely. Yeah, move your head from the camera, boy.
Look up. Oh.
Yes. Your head's in the camera, love. Can't see. Lovely. Give Joshua a go. Josh, get some from around the sides, please, darling. Good. Good stuff. My goodness. You guys are so good at this. stardom so I can hear that. Wow. Okay, so you'll be notice some stuff gets around the sides, so just need to scrape that off and make sure that it gets in, so it all gets a good beat in. Okay, then we are going to add in the dry ingredients. Okay, so the dry ingredients are going to be sifted in, and so we are going to need the sieve, and we are going to pop in the 375 grams of plain flour, the baking powder, the salt, and my added extra cinnamon. Now guys, this can be a gluten-free recipe if you like, by using gluten-free flour and gluten-free baking powder, so that's an easy mix. If you want to make it dairy-free as well, I'm going to give you a hint afterwards. It's a little bit more complicated, but there are ways, guys, there are ways to convert this recipe, so don't despair. We can tweak it over here. Okay, so AJ, can you get the sieve please? Off the yeah, I left it on top of the stove. Thank you. So now we're going to sieve these in, and we are almost at the stage where we will have a proper cookie batter. Anytime today, son, please. Quick. We're waiting. Hello. Thank you. Right. So. Okay. You. Right, now don't make a mess. So, do you know how to make it go down?
You have to shake it sideways.
Not shake it, tap
slowly,
it.
like.
Tap it.
Tap that.
Otherwise, yes, otherwise you'll get it everywhere.
I thought we'll go like, I know how to tap.
I don't know how to tap.
That's it.
This is why you failed your year 2.
Okay, go on, Josh. Why did you take your glove off? Can you put your glove back on, please?
Exactly.
My hand is itching.
Me and before.
Hello, can you be nice? You're on camera.
It's a joke that only people understand.
Okay. Right, Joshua, come on, sieve this last bit.
Sieve it.
Okay, now it's less in there, we can shake it as well. Keep going.
To the shake.
No, tap and shake at the same time. Come on, skills. Multi-talented. Yeah.
It looks like a mountain.
It does look like a mountain, doesn't it?
Maybe because it is.
Good boy. Right, so I'm adding in the baking powder again. You can make that gluten-free. Adding the salt, yes. And adding in the cinnamon. A lot of you see salt, so that doesn't look like it wants to go through the sieve, and it doesn't matter. So there we go. So I'm going to do the initial stirring because I do not want it everywhere. Because
we are not responsible.
Right, okay, hang on. Right, I'm going to change the angle of the camera so that they can see us in action. So I'm do a little bit of, now that you've seen what it looks like from here. Okay, so we've been giving it a good mix. We're right here in the flour stage where it's still very powdery. As I said, if you do this in your cake mixer, you'll be done in no time, like a couple of minutes if that. But this is very easily done without a mixer, as you can see, boys. Yeah, can you help?
Oh, how do I do it?
Exactly, you weren't even
breadcrumbs.
Not breadcrumbs. I want you to blend it all
It has
together.
to look like breadcrumbs.
No, it doesn't have to look like breadcrumbs. You're not making apple crumble. Go on.
No, that is the breadcrumbs. That's what I
All
meant.
together.
No, just to go back together. Shh. You can use your hands. Why don't you use your hands?
We're not using our hands yet. Okay, you have a go, Josh. We can show the camera in a second and just show how, careful, don't make a mess. Can you calm your level of energy down, love? Over there, Mr. Man, doing aerobics in the corner. It's not PE lesson yet. Okay, that's it. So it's coming together to make a kind of doughy now. If you look, if I put it to the camera, you can see it's starting to form a dough. That's what we want. And once we've kind of got rid of all of the flour, we can then start mixing it together. Now with cookie dough, it does need to rest in the fridge for a little bit. Otherwise it won't be the right consistency to roll out. You can try it if you like, but honestly, from trial and error, I know that if you don't rest it first, so in the meantime, whilst they're resting, we're going to be doing something else. But I'm just going to get it all together into a dough. Make sure it's not sticking to the sides. Using the rest of the dough to kind of grab everything. We don't want to waste any cookie, because if we don't eat it,
I want to eat it.
the bin will get it. Don't lean on that, love. Stand up properly. Guys, I don't understand. Your level of concentration, is this what teachers have to put up with?
No.
Goodness me. You can't be focused for like 10 seconds. Yeah, I used to be a teacher, but with older kids who can maintain focus for more than 5 seconds.
Wow.
Okay, so as you can see, I deliberately used a clear bowl, but it is a bit clouded. We have
A bowl.
a batch of cookie dough. Okay, so one other ingredient that I shared with you, equipment, and that I shared with you slightly after I posted the initial one on Friday, was cling film, because you do need to wrap this up. And if you haven't got a cling film, hopefully you've got a freezer bag, just anything that you can put it into the fridge and cover it over. And if you haven't got that, then you put it in a bowl in the fridge, covered over with a plate or something. Okay, so it's not the end of the world if you haven't got cling film. I'm sure most homes have a bit of cling film wrap. So we're going to wrap it. Look at these two. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Like, they just can't focus for 10 seconds. Focus! Goodness me. Goodness. Are your kids doing this, like, in the background? God. Right, so I'm going to get the cling film wrap. I'm going to wrap it up. Why is my son doing lame jokes? He's saying, why can't the cling film be called Cling Movie? Really? Really? Seriously? Like, no. Okay, so a bit of cling wrap on this. And it does have to go in to the fridge for 2 hours. But don't worry, whilst it's in the fridge for 2 hours, we're going to be making our clouds and rainbows. So we're going to have stuff to do for some of that time. And the rest of that time, they can go back on Fortnite, which is what I know they're annoyed with. Because I'm taking them away from Fortnite. No. How cruel am I? This is your home economics lesson, boys. Like, seriously? Right, in the fridge we go for 2 hours. So before we, whilst that's 2 hours is elapsing, we've got to wash up all of the plates. Yay! Sorry guys, you've got to make this look right. Okay, so we've got all our colours here, and when you're making the rainbow, it's really important that you work out what order you're going to do your rainbow in, so that you can kind of make sure. Your icing sugar will help you if you get a bit stuck or if it's too soft and you want to firm it up a bit. But for each rainbow, and I'm going to give my boys, and then we're just going to all do it together at the same time actually. So you get a little bit of each colour, try and get an even amount. It's like Play-Doh, does it? Well, this one is going to taste a lot better than Play-Doh, I'll tell you that. So, you start off like that, and then what you do is you're going to roll with your fingers, just move this here, or your hand along the surface. Now, because I've got these gloves on, which I have to wear annoyingly. When you're at home and you're not wearing gloves, honestly, this is easier. Try and get them all the same sort of width.
Are we going to eat this?
You are going to eat these afterwards, which is cool. Joshua doesn't want them for some reason.
Best bit of bacon.
So, yeah, the best bit of bacon is eating. So once you've rolled them into a little sausage, you then,
Combine them together.
yeah, you're going to put them like that. Try and get them as even as possible. If you are a baker and you've got like a one of those smoothers, you can actually use those. That helps you to get a nice even sausage. But if not, just do that. And then you go again with your green. Oops, that's not looking even. If you notice one part of your sausage is totally skinny, you do need to fix that, because otherwise it will God. Start again. Hello. I'm just trying to work out why this is really irritating me.
You're speaking to the food.
Yes. Look, it's gone skinny again. Can you just quit doing that in the middle of my
You have to
thing?
you have to eat in McDonald's, so you won't become skinny anymore.
Eat the McDonald's.
Okay, there we go. The blue.
The best colour.
And again, what you need to realise is that if you have these out while you're doing them, they'll tend to dry out. So you do need to either cover them, or you need to work fast. So I've left them out for you to see, but I'm going to cover them in a second because they're drying out. Okay, so that is my last colour. You can see it would do with a bit of... So when you've got them together like that, they will almost act as a glue together. And I'm just going to use my palette knife that you will have seen, the art knife. And as long as it can go through, and I'm squeezing it together a bit, which will help it to stick. And then I'm going to curve it into my rainbow shape. Now what I've got to try and remember is the size of my cookie. So I don't want it to be bigger than my cookie, so I will always bear that in mind. Then snip those. And the reason why I didn't put water on it first, guys, is because I can use those. I can use those colours again. Don't want to waste them. No waste. If you put water on it, God, it's a nightmare to separate. So that's a little tip. Otherwise you will have lost all those extra colours. And in the lockdown, guys, we need to keep everything we can keep, okay? So
And we might have to eat each other.
Oh, that's green.
oops, thank you. That would help if I actually put it on the right colours. So that is why, guys, I didn't put water on it. Now it does stick. What am I doing? It does stick relatively well.
He's lonely.
Like that. He's lonely. Put him over there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a biscuit here. And can you... Oh, so we have mixed here the a bit of icing sugar with a little bit of water. And you'll see on the screen how much I used. And literally, this is going to be the glue to stick the rainbow on. Like that. And we're just going to scoop it off. And it should stay relatively together if we do it properly. And if we don't do it properly, like me, we can still work with it. So there you go. That's your rainbow on. And now your cloud is going to be made of white sugar paste, which you will have also got on your list. So you just roll out a tiny bit of that, and the boys are gagging to go. It's your turn in a minute. And that cloud is going to go at the bottom, but if you've noticed, obviously it's not a round cloud, it's an oblong cloud. So I'm just going to do the cutter at the top. Can you still see that? I need to move up a bit. Do that again. Cutter at the top. That's it, nice clean edge. And cutter at the bottom. So sort of an oblong cloudy shape. And then I'm going to stretch it a bit. And that will give us the width of the cookie. Okay, so we can just do that. And I think it's actually even a little bit too wide. There we go. Excellent. So we're just going to do the same. Get some of that and stick it onto your cookie. And if you've got any wayward bows of your rainbow, that should stick it down. I did notice my red was trying to escape, so I might put a little bit of icing underneath that. And there we have it, your rainbow sugar cookies, baby. Good to go. So boys, it's your turn now, yay. So you are going to join us and make these cookies. I'm going to let you do it both at the same time. I'm going to put you on fast, super fast mode, and you're going to do it all together on your own. Okay, bye. So you've got your cookie dough. You're going to unwrap it or take it out of your bowl, whatever you had it in the fridge. And I would do it in 2 halves just to make it easier to roll out. So just going to cover that one back up. And we are going to make sure, you can do it a little bit, but just give me a chance first. So the icing sugar is really important because otherwise it will stick to everything, including your rolling pin. So you want to have icing sugar on the surface, icing sugar on your rolling pin. Can you guys stop? And this is what you want to kind of do. Have it in a sort of ready to roll flat-ish shape. It will crack a bit. That's normal. Don't think, oh my god, my cookies are ruined. It just means your cookie's going to be the right consistency. Wait, give me a chance. Stop making sound. Right, so when you roll, you kind of need to lift at every corner, kind of a couple of rolls. Otherwise, what will happen is you will, no, not get a cracked cookie. You'll end up with it sticking to everything. So if you find cracks appearing, you see it's relatively not sticking because I keep doing this, and it's fine if your cookies are sugared a bit. It's better that than they stick. It's icing sugar now. Don't use flouring. It's this stage. Oh yeah, I should be using flour. Okay, so continuing to roll that. Okay, we don't want it too thin, so that is enough to start making your cookies. And because it's nice and cool, it will make us some nice shapes. Don't worry, boys, I'm going to let you do some. So you put it in and you kind of move it a little bit to make sure that it's not... Yes, you will do it when it's your turn.
I know, I said I was going to do it.
Okay, and then you just move it around. And that cold temperature of the dough is what allows you to have a nice clean edge. So you just do that.
I know what to do
and
next.
Have we got another one? No.
Do you know, and you take it off and you put the dough back together.
Yes, we will. And you're going to get a chance to do that. So I already lined my baking tray here. I'm going to put those nicely. Leave a little bit of space because they kind of spread when they warm up and you don't want them sticking together. So I'm just putting them on here nicely. And the thickness is around half a centimetre, I'd say. A bit of space in between that. So going to put those to the side. So boys, it's your turn now. Okay, hang on. So you're going to put it together get your flour, your icing sugar. My boys and I were kind of debating, should you use flour, should you use icing sugar?
I don't know.
I think you can use both. I've always used icing sugar, but you can use flour. When you're making pastry, you use flour for definite, but because you're making cookies, I think icing sugar is a better bet. But anyway, so remember your icing flour and sugar on the favour, not on the cookie, on the table.
Oh.
There we go. And a bit on the, okay. Right. Go for it. Stop laughing, Joshua. Okay. Hey! God. No, look. You roll it like that in bits and then lift it up. Okay. Oops, and it's sticking, so you needed a bit more. Okay, so if it sticks and does that, then you need a bit more icing sugar.
I don't want to.
And let's turn it over. It's not going to waste. So don't press too hard. Right, that's it.
Then change it.
Then change it, yeah. Go on. That's it. That's it. Okay. You're using, if you put you're pushing it so far out, you have no control. So just do that in the middle. Do you see what I mean? I'm on the middle of the cookie. Just one more roll. Perfect. Excellent. Well done. Hey, come cut out.
Oh, me?
Yes. Joshua's going to do the next round. Okay. Cut out. Do them so that you can get 4 out of there, please. Yeah. Careful. Use both hands so you can manoeuvre it. Okay. And, yeah. Okay. And, yeah. Okay. Lovely. Wonderful. Okay, so get that all up. And grab it together. And carefully lift those cookies and put them on the tray. Whoops, that one wasn't quite cut out properly.
Let's go.
Okay.
Now you can do it.
Can you do yours first, please? Lift it carefully. Okay, so it's a little bit of an art to it, but try and get underneath it. Don't try and squash it. So just lift it with your finger to get underneath it. That's it. Okay, that's it. Well done. And that one. Well done. Just kept it shaped. Well done, good boy. Okay, now you, young man. So have you got enough sugar on that table? Do you reckon you need some more?
Yes.
Okay, go on then. Yep. Because that was AJ's problem. He didn't use enough sugar. Okay, you're putting some on there as well. Good. Okay. Put that together first. Make it into one ball first. Put it under the camera. No, they can't see you, babe. Okay, that's it. Stop jumping around, AJ. Right, okay, go on. Fabulous. Okay, not too much in one go because otherwise it's going to stick and you're going to get it too. Okay. Ready to do the last stage of the cookies, so we're going to decorate now. They're nice and cooked, they've dried, they've cooled, so now we are ready to decorate. So I know you guys will have had your your Dr Oetker icing. Hopefully yours came. Mine didn't come in time for me to film this, so I'm going to use colours that I've already mixed. So I've got the 5 colours. I think I've got 6 I made because I've mixed to get the green and mixed to get the purple. But in your set you will have set colours, and I'm going to re-record another little snippet just in case there are any tweaks and tips that I can give you, because every icing is different and it might be less sticky or whatever. So we're about to start decorating, guys. This is the fun part. I'm sure you guys have had fun already, but this is going to be like even more super fun. So, are we ready? Yeah! Can I hear you kids? Yeah! Okay, let's go. So it finally arrived and I've tried it out, and don't worry, the paste is absolutely fine to work with. Just dust it with icing sugar if it gets a little bit sticky, but there are no big changes. Enjoy that, and I hope you'll join us next week where we will be making this delicious fully edible chocolate mug cake. Yes, it is fully edible, including the mug, 100%. As you can see, we've cut it in half and you guys will be making that. Yes, I'm going to teach you how to make it. And this chocolate mug cake, unlike other ones that I've tried previously, does not taste of air. It tastes of delicious chocolate fudge cake, and you will see when you try it that you will be able to make chocolate cake on tap in 5 minutes. I know you love me, it's okay. Have a great week, see you next Friday. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification, guys.